This is Barry Zelma speaking for Claims School Incorporated's blog Zelma on Insurance. Today we're talking about why an insurer was free of liability for handling a water damage claim up to its limit of liability, but its claims consultant or adjuster was not free. It is a case that tells you that a policy limit stated in an insurance policy is the most an insured can recover for a loss, and why a water damage special limit of liability was enforced by the courts. In Abraham and Company, Inc. versus Markel Insurance Company and Hirschfield Risk Services, Inc., DBA H&H Claims Consultants, the Court of Appeals of Texas, 14th District, dealt with damages caused by Winter Storm Uri in February 2021 when pipes at Abraham's location burst, causing water damage to numerous rugs, in a decision of the Court of Appeal on August 19, 2025. The key facts of the case dealt with an insurance policy that Markel issued to Abraham with a liability limit of $2 million for covered property and a special limit of $750,000 for water damage to that property. Abraham filed a claim under the policy, and Markel paid only $750,000 based on the endorsement limiting liability for water damage. Abraham sued Markel for breach of contract and other claims, and against H&H for negligence and violations of the Texas Insurance Code. The trial court concluded that the policy's unambiguous language limited the coverage for Abraham's claim to $750,000. The Court of Appeals concluded the trial court did not err in granting summary judgment for H&H on the negligent claims handling, but erred in dismissing Abraham's general negligence claim. As to extra contractual damage claims, the trial court was found to have not erred in granting summary judgment on Abraham's extra contractual claims against Markel and H&H because of the clear exclusion and limitation in the policy to $750,000 for water damage, which was appropriate, since it was undisputed that Abraham's claim was based on the loss caused by water damage, and that Markel had paid $750,000 on that claim. The trial court did not err in granting summary judgment and dismissing with prejudice Abraham's breach of contract claim. When a contract is not breached, there is no extra contractual claim available. To the extent that the trial court granted summary judgment as to Abraham's claim for negligent claims handling, dismissed the claim, and determined that H&H cannot be liable based on a theory of negligent claims handling, the trial court did not err, and the Court of Appeals affirmed the trial court's judgment. To the extent the trial court granted summary judgment as to Abraham's general negligence claim, dismissed the claim, and determined that H&H cannot be liable on a theory of general negligence, the trial court erred according to the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals reversed the trial court's judgment and remanded the case for further. In part of its first issue and its second issue, Abraham challenged the trial court's granting of summary judgment as to its negligence claim against H&H, the claims consultants, To the extent the trial court granted summary judgment as to Abraham's claim for negligence claims handling, dismissed the claim, and determined that H&H cannot be liable based on a theory of negligence claims handling, the trial court did not err according to the Court of Appeal, and the trial court's judgment was affirmed. To the extent the trial court granted summary judgment as to Abraham's general negligence claim, dismissed the claim, and determined that H&H cannot be liable on a theory of general negligence, the Court of Appeal concluded that the trial court erred and sent the case back to the trial court to deal with that general negligence claim. In my opinion, many insurance companies do not have claim staff to deal with all claims and retain the services of independent claims adjusters and consultants like H&H. The Court of Appeals found that everything that the insurer did, which of course was performed by H&H, was appropriate. It still allowed the case to go forward against H&H, who only can act as an agent of the insurer, and if it acted negligently, it can be held liable for any damages resulting from its negligence. How if the claim was handled appropriately and the insured paid the limit of liability set forth in the policy? The claims handler could be negligent. It is difficult for me to prognosticate. This video was adapted from my blog, Zelma on Insurance, which is available free to anyone who clicks on the URL zelma.com/blog. You can subscribe to the blog, and if you do, you'll receive notice of every blog posting, usually 5, sometimes 6 a week, and you'll also gain access to the more than 5,150 blog postings. You can also subscribe to these videos. They're free. Please tell your friends and colleagues about the blog and these videos so that they too can subscribe. And if you're interested in further detail about insurance, insurance claims, insurance law, and insurance fraud, please consider, for a very small fee, subscribing to my Substack publications. Thank you for your attention.